Good morning and happy Sunday. Hey everybody, happy Sunday. No, that was just some random noodling. And I can't tell a lie, it is not Sunday right now when I'm recording this because I'm on the road. Probably on driving back from somewhere today when I am posting this video. Yeah, because I'll probably get home, be way too tired. You'll see some guy, with his 5 o'clock shadow on his face, trying to talk to you guys. But anyways, cheers, cheers. And I'll be probably thanking Cornwall, Ontario, for a great show. Hopefully, that's okay, and that all goes well, because that's the fear of when you pre-record. But anyhow, thank you so much, everybody who's wished me happy birthday this week. The big one's next year. I turned 59 this past Wednesday on May 28th. What happens? What do you guys do on your birthday? I don't mean going out for dinner or hanging out with families and friends and that kind of thing. I mean, what do you do mentally when you get past another year in your life? Seriously, in my life, my dad only lived to be 57. So 57 was a rough year for me. It was like, okay, all this hereditary stuff about health and all that kind of thing. And so I got past that, and it feels pretty good. But you can't. Oh, you feel like you're on borrowed time. That's how. Anyway, that's how I feel. I feel like I'm on borrowed time. So I'm gonna try and enjoy myself and enjoy my life as much as I can, and try and, while I still have to provide for the household and everything else. But you still gotta, in the back of your mind, you think, hey, let's go for it and still enjoy things in life and not worry too much about all those ever-present negatives that are in life. But what do you think about? I also think about what I call a yearly checkup. Now, for guitar players, I remember exactly when I started playing. It was in January of a year that I can have to pull out the calculator for. But I was 12 years old. I started playing guitar formally at 12. That's when I started really getting serious. Started taking lessons. Took lessons for about 4 years, and then jumped to classical and other genres of levels of study and that kind of thing. But those 4 formative years, and actually it's more like 6, because I think my parents bought me the guitar when I was 10, and I just messed around with it for probably a couple years, and then I moved on to lessons and formal stuff and that kind of thing. But and take lessons, guys. Take lessons. It's even if you're an adult, take lessons. And I'm not doing that because I'm shamelessly promoting myself as a teacher or teachers in general or music schools in general. It's important to have a coach that sees things and one-on-one. And sadly, I know I do a lot of online stuff too, but online isn't always the greatest to hear what the person and see clearly what the person's doing. But it's a good second choice if you can't be there, and especially if I teach people in the States and stuff like that, and they obviously can't come in. But I do have some that are reasonably not close enough to drive in every week, but they sometimes come out to the studio for one-on-ones, which is really important for their progress that I found anyways. But yeah, take lessons because it's important at any level. Find yourself a good advanced teacher if you're a pro, and there's never anything you never stop learning. You never stop learning the instrument. I'm always looking for new ways to teach. I'm always looking for new ways to play. So the yearly checkup was something I used to do in January. Now I'm starting to think about it at my birthday because it's just the milestone is there. So what's a yearly checkup? You try to think back to what were you doing musically a year ago, and I mean, if you're a weekend warrior, a basement player, or a bedroom player, you just got to think about your playing and what you're playing. Like, it might be a song, might be a group of songs. Maybe you're still working on a certain technique or a song, and it's a year later. And that's a red flag to say, hey, I gotta get better at this. Because really, if you say you've been playing for 2 years and you only pick it up half an hour a week, that's not really 2 years, guys. That's not 2 years. You add up those half hours, and it probably doesn't even add up to 6 months of playing, right? Um, so that's what a yearly checkup does. You kind of just take a look at what you're doing, um, playing wise. Now, if your year is much better and your playing is much better and you're doing more better musical projects and getting out to play for more people, obviously you're getting an A+ on your yearly checkup, but you can still be kind of in a playing rut, which you got to play yourself out of. And that's where your teacher comes in, that's where lessons come in. um, YouTube is great. I love YouTube. I love watching guys play. If I have to learn a song real quickly, I will watch some guy play it on YouTube and figure it out. Much quicker than doing it by ear. Still try and learn, do stuff by ear, and put your own personal twist on things, because that's where the creative side comes in. Plus, these are your hands, and you need to train your hands to do what you want to play and the way you play it. So don't be afraid to change things, and don't be frustrated when you can't play that technique that the guy who practices nonstop and doesn't really play on his videos, um, that's happened. People are syncing up their perfectly recorded stuff. You can see it. That's why I always play live on my show. I mean, if I make mistakes, you get them. Sorry, people make mistakes. Guitar players make mistakes. We all make mistakes. Anyways, sound wise too. Like, a mistake might not be something note wise, it might be something sound wise, or you didn't attack a note properly or something like that. So anyways, if you're a guitar player, do your yearly checkup. It's very important to find out if you're progressing or not. I don't care if you're 80 years old, you're still progressing at something. If you want to do a yearly checkup on the rest of your life, don't be afraid. You can do that too. Where were you financially? Where were you mentally? Mentally is probably more important than financially, in my opinion, but just do that and reflect on your year. I had a great year. We're still, as a musical business, as Avalon Music, we're still kind of digging out of COVID, as most business owners would know, especially if you're a restaurant or someone who provides services. Music teaching is kind of a luxury service. Not everyone does it. Sadly, a lot of people that, families that have more money probably gravitate to it, because it's one of those things that people feel that you should do. It's probably the first thing left out. I live in a town which is heavily on the sports, way more than the arts. So we take a backseat to sports, especially around this time of year where people are starting to play soccer and baseball, and hockey's over, and hockey takes a chunk out of our business too. So, if you're so this has been a slow climb to get back after the COVID mess. So thankfully that is going in the right direction. Lots of things are going in the right direction. Musically, playing live, I got some great projects with Keep the Faith and Bridge on Fire. I have to kick my son in the butt because he hasn't been playing. We haven't been doing a lot of our acoustic gigs lately. So we're working on that. I saw him yesterday, and then we're definitely going to work on that. For the single point that he's a 20-year-old or a 19-year-old just about to turn 20, living in a big city, and he needs money, and he needs to make a name for himself. So anyhow, yearly checkups in life and guitar playing. I'll wait till the mic decompresses here. Okay. Yearly checkup on your equipment, your gearheads out there. Do that too. I just did an amazing overhaul on the, what I call the office, the office on the floor here, my coffee table or my living room rug that I take with me everywhere I play. My comfort zone, it's a pedal board, for another word if you want to use the technical term. Here's a tip for all you guys out there. Now, you pros know this already. Hopefully you do. If you have a large amount of pedals, like Darren does on the floor over here, a large amount of pedals, make sure you are not underpowering your pedals, okay? And I'm not going to get into this. Maybe I'll do a separate video for you guys, but if you're underpowering your pedals, they are not performing to where they want to, where you should be. Now you're probably thinking, this is electricity. Why? How can it not perform? You know, I underpower my phone, and you know, I can't see the difference. But maybe you do hear the difference or see slower activity or that kind of thing. You underpower a CD player, it doesn't get any quieter, but maybe it's not working as efficiently. You underpower a distortion pedal, and you're not getting all that nice roominess or headroom that the designer and the manufacturer tested this pedal to be. So you buy a pedal and maybe you plug it into your board and you think, oh, this isn't that great. But maybe you're underpowering it. Now, underpowering it means you got to do some homework, guys. I have a list here. I'm going to show it to you. A list here of all my pedals on my board, if you can see it. And I don't know if you can see this clearly, but yeah, let me see here. So you see, here's my MS3, and then there's a number here. The number says 280. That's 280 milliamps. It has nothing to do. It's not volts and volts and current are two different things. So milliamps are how much amps or how much current you're actually using. Delay pedals, multi-effects pedals. I have something called a drop pedal on my board for different tunings. Sucks a lot of juice, 280 milliamps. I have a delay pedal, a TC delay pedal. It takes 300 milliamps. Those are all the big ones that are going to take all your power, and most power supplies are in this $1,500 to $1,700 milliamps. They're not that expensive. Range. So if you're getting close, I was cutting it close. I had a 1,700 milliamp power supply, and I was at 1512 with my count, which is dangerously. You'll start to get drop offs. You'll start to get volume drops for certain things, especially if you use a multi-effects unit. I found that, and I realized I was underpowering my board. So I have got a new One Spot Pro CS6. I'm reading it off the floor right now. Broke down and bought a proper power supply for my board, and all is beautiful in the world right now. Because the drive pedals, which, you know, most pedals are 9-volt batteries. You can run them higher. Check your manufacturer's specs, though. But my two drive pedals, my Friedman BEOD and my JHS AT Plus, which are both incredible pedals if you like the Marshall or high-end. If you like that, they're incredible pedals. But I found that they weren't dazzling enough, and then I put them up to 12 volts. They were incredible, and I put them up to 18 volts, which is double our 9-volt battery, if you're doing the math out there, and they're amazing. So anyways, no more on that. I'll talk more about that maybe in a separate video. Cheers, everybody. Go out and see your friends play live. Go out and see people that aren't your friends play live, and go out and support local bands as well as the ones you pay the heavy price for tickets, because it's cheaper to see somebody locally, and maybe they're not your heroes, but they will be soon. Take it easy, guys. Have a great one. Enjoy May. June is right around the corner. Actually, sorry, today is June 1st, is it not? Pre-recorded thing. Okay, see ya. Take it easy. Bye-bye.